Now at 9, how a new Missouri law offering business incentives will impact Joplin entrepreneurs. Plus, Ottawa County and City of Miami officials work on a compromise for the future of historic Ribbon Road. And the Joplin Police Department hosts a block party for residents. We'll take you there.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Anthony Saviello. A new bill was signed into law that will take away some roadblocks to starting a small business in Missouri. This could benefit Joplin by bringing more jobs to the city. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
Missouri Governor Mike Parson signed a bill into law that will help promote the development of small businesses in Missouri. Doug Hunt is the Director of Entrepreneurship at the Joplin Area Commerce, and he says the new laws will open the door for new local entrepreneurs.
Helps the process of anybody that's thinking about starting a business when they're weighing the risk. All of these new laws help mitigate some of the risk that a new entrepreneur startup may be looking at. And all of us want to mitigate as much as that as possible.
The bill creates the Regulatory Relief Office, which will accept suggestions to modify regulations that could be a regulatory burden to small businesses. Lance Coleman is part of a startup company called Power Engineers and says that the opportunity to focus on the business instead of regulations will be a big help.
When you're starting a business, you're focused on building your clientele, getting your customers and revenue going. So you want to focus on the thing that you're wanting to do for the business, not worrying about meeting government requirements or some kind of paperwork burdens.
The signed bill creates an Office of Entrepreneurship, which will promote policies that grow businesses with less than 10 employees. Coleman hopes this will remove barriers for more groups of people to become entrepreneurs.
Supporting businesses that are women-owned or minority-owned, sometimes even veteran-owned. So anything like that adds more small businesses to the overall industry ecosystem is good.
The Director of Entrepreneurship, Doug Hunt, says that these laws will help small businesses thrive in Joplin, but it will also help bring employment opportunities to the area.
80% of new jobs are being started by new startup businesses that are 3 years old or newer. And because of broadband technology, those businesses do not need to be in metro hubs, those new startups. So a new startup can start in a rural area.
The signed bill will become law on August 28th. Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The Office of Entrepreneurship will make recommendations to the General Assembly on how to increase resources for small businesses in Missouri that have been around for 3 or less years. We'll check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney for a first look at weather.
Well, temperatures are dropping down to the 70s now, so we're about 78 out in Joplin. A little cloudy out there, but we got a nice sunset going on. About 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the east winds. They're going to continue to shift a little bit more further north, and as we see, these temperatures are going to remain relatively cool for the next several days. We do also have some storms rolling in, but that's not going to come until tomorrow. So temperatures tonight, 77 out in Stockton right now, 78 in Pittsburgh, 80 out in Welsh, 81 Veneta, Nowata, Grove, 82 out near Jay. So it's a little bit warmer out there in the west and southwestern counties. Like I said, we do still have some storms that are rolling in later on, early in the morning tomorrow and in the afternoon. We'll talk more about that in just a bit.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Authorities in southwest Missouri capture a federal fugitive during a theft ring investigation. McDonald County Sheriff's deputies served 2 search warrants yesterday and today in the Goodman area. The warrants were part of a theft ring investigation. After serving the warrants, authorities found stolen property on property east of town. Officers arrested 2 men on warrants, including a federal fugitive, Corey Rusher. Rusher's history includes a conviction for burglary of federal firearms licensee. In 2017, Corey Rusher was sentenced to 6.5 years in federal prison and 3 years of supervised release. Ribbon Road, an original piece of Route 66 outside of Miami, draws thousands of visitors every year. But a proposal to repair the historic road has drawn criticism from officials and preservationists alike. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on the fight to save a piece of history.
It is one of the things that makes our area unique.
Ribbon Road outside of Miami, Oklahoma is an original stretch of the famous Route 66 highway, completed in 1922. While much of Route 66 has been repaved over the years, Ribbon Road has essentially remained original, staying its famous 9 feet wide. But the road has begun to look its age.
First and foremost, the road needs attention. But we just want to make sure it's done in the right way and preserves as much of it as possible and just doesn't change the dynamic of the road, the thing that appeals to people.
Ottawa County and state officials have begun working on a proposal to repair Ribbon Road, but the original plan to mill up and relay the historic road drew sharp criticism from Miami city officials and preservationists.
That attracts tourists from all over, all over England and Scotland and Vietnam.
For businesses surrounding the historic stretch of Route 66, the tourists are some of their main customers. The owner of Briley's Silver Screen in Miami says tourists stopping to see Ribbon Road makes up nearly 90% of the people who stop in his store. He fears what destroying the stretch of original highway could do to his business.
They're gonna bypass. They're just will be a footnote, basically.
Recently, an Ottawa County Commissioner sent a letter to ODOT proposing a compromise regarding the repairs to Ribbon Road. That compromise would see more than 2 miles of the road relayed, but would leave the 1 mile stretch closest to this marker untouched. For advocates hoping to preserve the road, the compromise is a step in the right direction.
That is good progress, but that still doesn't arrest the fact that it is deteriorating and it does need some help to, keep it from continuing to deteriorate. We want it to last as long as possible, for the next 100 years for people that are traveling Route 66.
Miami city officials and the Oklahoma Route 66 Association say they hope to continue having discussions with the county and ODOT to ensure as much of Ribbon Road is preserved as possible. Mayor Bless Parker says he has discussed helping to provide dirt work and even annexing in the road to Miami to help with the situation.
Let's be open and transparent. Let's have open communication. The city's willing to be a good partner here, and we're willing to help with what we can, but we have to be allowed to.
Reporting in Miami, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Route 66 will celebrate its 100th anniversary in 2026, and both officials and preservationists hope to have Ribbon Road restored by that time. The Joplin Police Department invited the public out tonight for a block party. Revelers came out to the Schifferdecker Aquatic Center for a free swim, free hot dogs, and a chance to check out some emergency vehicles. The event also provides for a fun interaction with Joplin's finest.
Getting a chance to communicate and interact with young kids from an early age, we can start that relationship early, but we can also show them that we're to help. We can start showing them the different things that we do to help people on a daily basis.
Beautiful thing being on the other side, letting the children know and the community know these are not people to be scared of, like they're here to do their job and to help you as needed.
The JPD has one more neighborhood block party scheduled for this summer. Coming up, getting ahead of the surge.
Healthcare providers are scrambling to put an end to a new surge in COVID cases. I'm Madison Scarpino in New York. I've got the details coming up.
COVID is back, and healthcare providers are now working with the CDC to make sure this new surge doesn't turn into another full-blown pandemic. Fox News correspondent Madison Scarpino has more from New York.
A COVID summer surge is now underway in the U.S., with new cases spiking across the country. The CDC reports at least 7 states are experiencing what it calls very high COVID levels. And in the past week, the testing positivity rate is up 11% from this time last year, with COVID-related ER visits rising 1.3%. It's being largely driven by a COVID variant known as FLIRT, which is now responsible for more than half of all new cases. It's highly transmissible, but the good news, its symptoms appear to be less severe.
Some of the same symptoms that previous versions or mutations of COVID have had, with nasal congestion, sore throat, fever, not as much cough, which kind of throws people off.
Doctors and public health officials are also quick to point out this surge is extremely mild compared to those we've seen before. And while hospitalizations are up slightly, the majority of those patients are either elderly or have underlying medical conditions.
We're certainly not hitting numbers that we did in 2020 and 2021. And I think that the biggest concern is really around people that are going to get severe illness or potentially die, right? And that's really always been the concern.
The CDC is now organizing a new push to get folks up to date on their vaccines, calling it the best way to stay ahead of the next COVID strain.
It's important that we track which variants are circulating and we update our vaccines accordingly.
And if you're feeling sick, experts recommend testing daily for 5 days. And in the meantime, wear a mask. In New York, Madison Scarpino, Fox News.
A biobank with genetic information of more than 500,000 U.S. veterans is giving scientists new weapons to understand disease. A study published by the American Association for the Advancement of Science tracked 2,000 traits to see how they may be linked to genetic variations. The veterans' database is far more diverse than earlier biobanks, and that's helping scientists pinpoint potential links that have been missed in previous studies. Time-lapse imaging is a popular and sometimes pricey add-on to IVF fertility treatment that promises to help clinics select the best embryos for implantation. But a new study from scientists at Queen Mary University of London found it does not improve live birth rates compared to more conventional approaches. The researchers say the information could help clinics and patients better balance their resources. Lindsay is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, Special Olympics Kansas hosts a powerlifting competition in Pittsburgh.
It's been a pretty good day again today. I know the last few days have been really nice since that cold front that came through earlier this week. Now, temperatures continue in the mid-80s. It's a little cloudy out there downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. We also have a nice easterly breeze, so the winds have shifted slightly out to the east, but overall it's still been relatively cool. We're about a high of 83 today, low of 60, so we're still well below average for this time of year. I know I've been enjoying it. I'm sure everyone else has. I did a little yard work today, so being outdoors hasn't been unbearable like it has earlier this week before the cold front. Now we do have some more rain chances kicking off early tomorrow, and they're going to continue over the next several days. But at least for the rest of the night, we're going to stay clear. It's going to stay, like I said, relatively cooler. Tomorrow, getting up to about 85 in Joplin, 88 in Miami and Grove and Veneta, 87 in Independence, 86 in Sedan. A little bit better in some counties out in the east, 82 in Monette, 84 in Cassville. Then we move on to Sunday, and it's going to be even cooler because we do have rain chances continuing through Sunday. That's going to keep us cool. 73 out in Monette, 81 in Iola, 83 in Joplin. So still in the mid to lower 80s for the next couple of days. Like I said, those rain chances are going to start early in the morning on Saturday. This is about 5 a.m. for those western counties. So we're really not going to see a lot of these rain chances moving in until later in the day. But in those western counties, may see a few showers or two, and then isolated showers throughout the remainder of the afternoon. So it's about 1:30. You can see a few possible pop-up showers. They're not going to be really heavy rain, not looking at thunder or anything, but we may get a light shower here and there. Then we move into the evening time. So this is by 8:30 on Saturday. We've got isolated thunderstorms starting to move in. These are going to be pretty hit or miss. We do have the potential that some could be strong, but we're really not looking at a severe threat. So these are going to continue to make their way in all the way through the evening time and early into Sunday. So it's about 3 a.m. on Sunday. Still have widespread, scattered, and isolated thunderstorms throughout the morning time on Sunday. We've got a nice little strong storm that's moving towards southern, southwestern Missouri, just south of Joplin near Seneca. It's going to continue to move. Still continue to see isolated thunderstorm chances, isolated shower chances all the way through Sunday afternoon. Now, we really see chances of rain continuing until Monday, Tuesday even. We're not going to see a ton of rainfall accumulation throughout the entire area, but some areas may see a good bit. 1.5 inches in Miami, 1.7 in Veneta, but still some maybe not see so much. About a quarter inch in Pittsburgh, less than an inch in Parsons. But we are going to get some rain. So that's what we're really focusing on. And again, not a severe threat. So we do have rain chances starting off Saturday, continuing through Monday, maybe even Tuesday, and mid to upper 80s through first half of the week.
You know, I told Doug this earlier. We'll take the rain as long as it comes with those 80-degree temperatures.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, we get a little bit warmer next weekend.
That's fair.
But it is summertime.
We'll take it while we can get it.
Yeah.
For sure. Thanks, Lindsay. Fair season continues in the 4 states with the McDonald County Fair in Anderson, Missouri. This morning, young exhibitors got a chance to show off potential prize-winning swine. The day also featured beef cattle, rabbits, goats, and a youth tractor pool.
I don't know, one year I just thought I wanted to, and then I've done it ever since. I thought it was really fun. I came and watched, and some of my friends used to do it.
This year marks the 50th year for the McDonald County Fair. The event continues through tomorrow. Coming up, a worldwide system failure.
A massive global technology outage causes the FAA to ground thousands of flights. I'm Kelly Saberi in Chicago. Coming up, what you need to know before you head to the airport.
Tech companies are responding to a global outage that forced the FAA to ground thousands of flights. And air travel isn't the only industry impacted by the meltdown. Fox Business correspondent Kelly Saberi has more.
If we get there tomorrow, but it's just inconvenient.
Tech outages causing major airlines to issue worldwide ground stops. Some hospitals and banks around the world also reporting disruptions.
I want to stress that the best indications that I have received are that safety critical systems were not impacted. For example, our air traffic control system was not impacted, but still, these are the kinds of disruptions that nobody wants to experience.
Cybersecurity software company CrowdStrike sent out a routine maintenance software update that went horribly wrong in multiple areas around the world almost simultaneously. It resulted in crashes of machines running the Microsoft Windows operating system. A rollback is underway, but it takes time.
We're deeply sorry for the impact that we've caused to customers, to travelers, to anyone affected by this.
7 airports closed, including LaGuardia and Boston. Several airlines could not check in customers because their systems were down.
I had a very nice police officer tell me basically, just go home. You're better off, just go home.
The outage even causing some billboards in Times Square to go dark. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said there was no impact to any critical services.
It wasn't a cyber attack.
Hospitals like Mass General Brigham canceled non-urgent surgeries, and emergency calls were not going through to dozens of call centers across the U.S. While some ground stoppages have been lifted, the FAA says make sure you check whether or not your flight is still prepared to take off before you go to the airport. In Chicago, Kelly Saberi, Fox Business.
This year's Amazon Prime Day event hit record numbers. Between July 16th and 17th, shoppers spent $14.2 billion during the online sale event. According to Adobe Analytics, that's an 11% boost in sales from last year. Back to school supplies, TV, electronics, and small kitchen appliances were top sellers. Amazon has not yet released its sales figure, but said this had been its biggest Prime Day shopping event ever, with more items sold than any previous Prime Day. Netflix is getting rid of its cheapest ad-free plan in the U.S. The basic plan sat at a price of $11.99 a month. Netflix says those who want an ad-free viewing experience will now have 2 choices: the standard plan, which is $15.49 a month, or its premium plan at $22.99 a month. The streaming platform said it expects the number of new subscribers to slow down in the third quarter. Up next, how Missy Elliott reached new out-of-this-world heights. If it's possible there's life on Venus, they heard some good music recently. NASA says it transmitted Missy Elliott's song The Rain to Venus via radio antennas. It took nearly 14 minutes for the song to travel about 158 million miles to the planet of love. Elliott posted to social media about the feat, saying, quote, "The sky is not the limit, it's just the beginning." The artist plays with space iconography in her work, often something NASA nodded to in a statement about the transmission. Well, 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. There's growing pressure among Democrats for President Biden to drop out of the race for the White House. Plus, the Cherokee County Health Department hands out much-needed supplies to local families in need.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9. I'm Anthony Saviello. Families in need of equipment for their children, like strollers and wagons, had a chance to get supplies for free today in Baxter Springs. KOAM's intern, Mitch Adams, has the story.
It's all free, so why not show up?
The Cherokee County Health Department's A Stroll in the Park gives away strollers, wagons, and other family items. State programs and grants give the department the ability to give away other items like diapers and car seats to families in need.
The strollers are really good to have when you're taking your kids out. We have car seats to do today also, and then we have like different kind of giveaways.
Gayla Woodcock from the health department tells me that the purpose of these events is to get out in the community and help people with whatever services they can provide assistance with.
We're just trying to give away items that we know are useful to people, especially for the summer months.
Health department employees met with families to make sure all needs were met for the community that reached out for help. Tiffany Green with Spring River Mental Health and Wellness says this event is not only about the giveaway. It's also about gaining a support system and new friends along the journey.
These resources that we're connecting them to are really priceless. So they're programs that are going to stay with the family until the kiddo turns 5. So it's just, we're building support systems. So this event is great because families are able to meet each other, meet new friends, and build their own support systems, which is really important, especially for moms with new kids.
I'm hoping that putting the word out on Facebook, on the city's websites and stuff like that is getting the word out better. It is a great turnout today. We really appreciate as many that came.
The Cherokee County Health Department wants people to know that these types of programs are out there, and a lot of them can be extremely helpful for navigating different family situations. Reporting from Baxter Springs, I'm Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
For more information about the Stroll in the Park event in Baxter Springs, visit our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The former firefighter who died shielding his family from gunfire at a Trump rally was laid to rest today. People young and old lined the streets of Freeport, Pennsylvania as a fire truck carrying Corey Comparatore's flag-draped casket drove through town. Comparatore was the lone fatality and 2 others were injured in the attempt on Trump's life. Growing numbers of Democrats in the House and Senate say President Biden should withdraw from the 2024 race. But as the Biden campaign concedes, it has definitely hit a hard period for the campaign since the debate. They are reassuring everyone that Biden is going to be back on the campaign trail next week. Fox News senior White House correspondent Peter Ducey has more.
Critical days ahead. President Biden facing the stark reality that many Democrats at the highest levels want him to withdraw from the 2024 election.
He doesn't look like a winner to people who have the juice in the party, and that's the bottom line.
Joe Biden, for lack of a better word, is not competent to be the president of the United States.
Isolated at his beach house in Delaware as he battles COVID, the president has time to reflect.
People very close to the president, both congressional leaders, personal friends, they believe he is going to get there, as they put it, over the weekend.
The decision set against the backdrop of an enthusiastic Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Trump hardly even mentioning Biden by name.
Only going to use the term once. Biden. I'm not going to use the name anymore, just one time.
The Biden for President campaign calling an all-staff meeting Friday. The DNC's rulemaking arm also expects to meet Friday.
The series of leaks that we saw this week, that was the signal to him that not only do you not have the support you need on the Hill, you're not going to have the money that you need.
And in a race against time, Democrats are considering the extraordinary possibility of a new presidential nominee.
It's certainly not a process that we've taken before, but I love
the belief that it's not a difficult process for the party.
If President Biden drops out, he will become the first incumbent president in more than 50 years not to run for re-election. In Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, Peter Ducey, Fox News.
A bit later, we'll meet a mother biking 1,000 miles to honor her late daughter and raise awareness of a rare form of cancer.
Well, we've got another cool evening ahead. We'll go ahead and take a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. A little cloudy out there, which is going to keep us a little bit warmer at night, keeps that radiation trapped in. So we stay a little bit warmer in the evening times as the clouds stay in our area. Now, we're going to be pretty cloudy tomorrow as well, but still relatively cool. So today we only got up to about 83 degrees and our low was 60. So pretty far below average, with our average being about 91 and low of 70. Luckily, that trend continues. We see mid-80 degree weather all the way through midweek next week. We also have some rain chances kicking off this week as well. This weekend starting off tomorrow and continuing for the next several days. But until then, we're going to have mild temperatures tomorrow up to about 86 in Joplin, 85 in Pittsburgh, 89 in Miami, so a little bit warmer in Miami, Grove, Veneta, J, a little bit warmer out there in the upper 80s, 89 in Independence as well. But then we move into Sunday. Sunday is where we're going to see more widespread thunderstorms and showers, so we're going to remain cooler on Sunday. So we've got 73 out in Monette, 79 in Cassville, 83 in Joplin, 82 in Pittsburgh, 86 in Veneta, 83 in Independence. Not too bad out there, a little bit cooler. And we'll go ahead and look at the future tracks. We've got some rounds of showers moving in early Saturday morning, so it's about 5 a.m. It's not really going to make it all the way through, but we do have some showers pushing into those far western counties. As they move in, they really dissipate, but we do still see a chance of an isolated shower or two making it through most of our counties. We see more potential for rainfall, isolated thunderstorms, and showers later in the evening. So it's about 8:30 p.m. We've got a few isolated thunderstorms pushing in. We're not looking at a severe threat with any of these storms, but some could be strong, and they may be loud as well. Some thunder, some lightning. We've got Parsons, Yates Center, Coffeyville all going to get some rain. This is about 11:30 on Saturday. Rain continues to shift in again. Some could be strong, but mostly we're just looking at widespread thunderstorms, widespread showers, not looking at heavy rainfall either. It's going to be very isolated. You may not even see any rain at all. So this continues early in the morning Sunday, throughout most of the afternoon on Sunday as well. This is still in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. Isolated showers and thunderstorms, more shifting off to the eastern counties. But like I said, most of the afternoon we're going to still see thunderstorms and scattered shower chances continuing all the way through Monday as well. So we'll go ahead. This is going all the way until about 7 a.m. on Monday. How much rain we're going to get this weekend? Half an inch out in Lamar, quarter of an inch in Pittsburgh. Joplin, maybe 1.3 inches. Miami, 1.5. Veneta getting up to 1.7, Grove 1.8, but some areas may not even see a quarter of an inch. Fredonia is only less than that. So we're not looking at a ton of rainfall here, but some areas still could see a good amount. We've got those scattered thunderstorm chances and scattered shower chances continuing through Monday. Temperatures do start to warm up by the end of the week next week. We see some isolated thunderstorm chances in the forecast as well.
A nice break before things start heating up, though.
Definitely a nice break.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lindsay. Folks in Fort Scott, Kansas today took advantage of the nice weather to have some fun. Common Ground Coffee Company hosted a block party. At that event, attendees enjoyed some board games, dancing, and a little kids area for the little ones to have fun.
We played dominoes, and we've had our drinks, a pina colada, and just had fun.
So we kind of had a meeting a couple months ago, and they were just like, how can we be more in the community? We should be more involved because we're owned by a church and we really believe in being in the community. And I was like, well, we could try something like this, and presented the idea. So we just started rolling with it.
The event was free and open to the public. Coming up in sports, Special Olympics Kansas hosts a state powerlifting event in Pittsburgh. Plus, a local high school baseball coach earns national recognition. Brock Baldridge brings us those stories and more.
The Special Olympics in Kansas is hosting their state powerlifting competition in Pittsburgh for the second straight year, and many athletes from all over the state come to Pittsburgh High School for the event. Today started what is shaping up to be a fun, competitive weekend for Special Olympics Kansas. The best of the best from around the state get together at Pittsburgh High School for the powerlifting competition. Special Olympics Kansas is always looking for volunteers to make events like these possible.
Honestly, one of those niche sports that we have that some of our athletes just absolutely love to focus on, and it's really grown. We've grown from about 15 from last year, so it's been really cool to see the growth and the interest in powerlifting.
The SEC Football Media Days wrap up at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, and this marks the first season for the University of Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC since the league expanded to 16 teams. And this morning, the conference releases its 2024 Football Media Poll. Well, here's a look at the preseason SEC poll. Georgia takes the top spot with 165 first-place votes. Texas was picked to finish in second place with 27 first-place votes. Then the Missouri Tigers were picked to finish in sixth place, and a surprise to some as they received no first-place votes. Then Oklahoma is picked to finish in eighth place, and then the Arkansas Razorbacks are predicted to finish in 14th. The America Baseball Coaches Association released their high school regional coaches of the year, and a familiar local name makes the list once again. St. Mary's Colgan's Mike Watt is named the 2024 Kansas ABCA Division III Regional Coach of the Year. Coach Watt led the Panthers to their 34th state tournament since he took over as head baseball coach in 1986. And this is the first time he's won the award since 2016. This past season, Colgan baseball finished in third place in the Class 2A state tournament. Well, here's a look at Major League Baseball as action resumes after the MLB All-Star break. The St. Louis Cardinals were scheduled to face the Atlanta Braves tonight, but due to inclement weather, that game has been postponed. A split doubleheader is scheduled for tomorrow with the first pitch beginning at noon Central. Well, that's your look for sports. We're back with more news right after this.
A mother is raising awareness and funds for a rare cancer, neuroendocrine tumors, with a 1,000-mile cycling tour in honor of her late daughter. As she continues to bring attention, Gail Singel joined Fox to talk about her journey and how people can get involved to help. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
This is amazing.
Cyclist and activist Gil Schinzel biked a 32-day, 1,000-mile trip to raise awareness of a rare cancer, neuroendocrine tumors, or NETs, as a tribute to her daughter, Anna Rose. She began honoring her daughter in this way in 2017 by running through 52 national parks.
It was 7 years ago that Anna passed away from neuroendocrine cancer. She had only been diagnosed 9 months before she passed away. And, needless to say, worst 9 months of our lives. At that time, she and I were both runners, and I thought, I think I'm going to quit with the races and just run in the national parks. That would be a great goal. And Anna shared that goal with me. I had asked her to be the SAG driver, and she said, "No, Mama." And I said, "Oh, why not?" And she goes, "I'm going to run them all with you." And so that was the start of that idea. And after she passed, I don't know if it was her presence or what, but the idea would not leave me.
Schinzel was put in touch with the Healing Net Foundation, fundraising while sharing her message.
Neuroendocrine tumors do need attention by a qualified specialist, and we need doctors to get educated about neuroendocrine cancer so that they can diagnose us and quit telling people they have IBS, they have menopause, they have, asthma, when in fact they have neuroendocrine cancer.
Her recent bike tour began June 8th in Cincinnati and ended July 9th in Washington, D.C.
I get to meet NET patients along the way and support groups and wonderful doctors. And it's just incredible because for me, the one-on-one is so wonderful to be able to connect with another person who is suffering from this and to try to encourage them and give them hope for their treatment it's everything to me.
Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
For more information, visit thehealingnet.org. Coming up, how a new discovery is giving scientists new hope for a critically endangered crocodile species. A recent discovery is giving experts hope for an endangered reptile. Leah Mishkin reports from London.
At a national park in Cambodia, conservationists are making their way to a specific site. 5 nests of critically endangered Siamese crocodiles were found here in May.
This is the biggest recorded breeding event for the species this century.
The Cambodian director of the conservation group Fauna and Flora says the hatchlings were left in the wild, letting nature take the lead, with the mothers protecting their babies. Conservationists are staying close by, keeping guard, even covering the nest with leaves to camouflage them from predators. 60 eggs successfully hatched in June. Data shows there are only about 1,000 Siamese crocodiles in the world.
The Siamese crocodile was considered to be extinct in the wild only a couple of decades ago.
He says these hatchlings are significant for the recovery of the species.
The director added they are working with government partners to make sure the habitats stay protected. Field teams go out regularly to keep a pulse on the location of the species. Well, that's probably the cutest crocodile you'll ever see. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of animals at the Rome Zoo enjoying some icy treats. You'll probably need it with how hot it's been. Have a great night from all of us here at KOAN.